I'll tell you when you're done.
I think we're
Yes,
live.
people, we are live. Where do I tag you in? Nope, I don't think I can tag you.
That's okay. Let's start. I think we're live. So
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Toast the Toss episode 4. This time we have an esteemed round of panelists, some of whom we have seen in the previous episode, and some new faces. So I'm going to start alphabetical order. So let's welcome our path-breaking Kashyap amongst us, Abhinav Kashyap, as the first panelist. Our second panelist is somebody whose namesake made in India famous back in the 90s. I'm talking about Bidhu Das. His namesake was the famous music director Bidhu way back in the 90s. Welcome, Bidhu. Now, our third panelist from an alphabetical order is the analyst in red background, red t-shirt. Our third panelist is Tejas. Welcome, Tejas. And last but not the least, our own stats guru in-house, our fourth panelist, Vignesh. All right, fellas, welcome to the show. And let's try and talk about a lot of things like we do, try and have some fun and banter. So, question for you guys. Something which we used to do when we were young: rain, go away, come back another day. Rain spoiled India's chances in Nottingham. If you were given a chance, what is the most innovative way you think of to avoid rain? Like, rain's been spoiling too many cricket matches for our liking. The field is yours, folks. Whoever wants to go first.
I'm not really sure about the innovative part, but I probably will apply a little bit of common sense and start the game a little early. They start at 11 in England, don't they?
Yeah.
They can just prepone it to 10. We can get 15 overs each every single day, and that's enough to get a result, even if one day is washed out, right? It's simple. I'm all for traditions. I'm all for having age-old traditions, backing cricket, but you've got to move on. It's just an hour. You can just start at 10 and you can get the game done in 4 days with, you know how English conditions are, right? With seaming conditions, bowler-friendly pitches. It won't take too much time. I think we can get a result in 4 days with the interruption of rain. If we just can add 1 hour per day in the morning. It's as simple as that.
That's a good idea, Tejas. I'm not sure the English would love to get up early, but I think that's a fabulous idea. 15 overs in 1 hour, you could cover 60 overs. Yeah. I mean, after the 100, I think we could try a 4-day test. All right, taking on from Tejas. Any more contributions?
Yeah, I don't think it's wise to make it a 4-day test. We already are usually beyond the over rate. We're not able to complete enough in time, and it's taxing enough for the players. I would suggest that, like, we know this time of the year England is going to have some rains at this part, right? Why can't we just use our logic and play all of our cricket at Motera where there's no rain or anything, right? We'll be happier and get more views, we get more. But jokes aside, I think there can be smarter scheduling where we try to avoid areas that we know are going to rain. And yeah, there's also, you should also be open to a lot of non-traditional methods, right? Maybe some anti-rain dances. I don't know if anything like that exists, but yeah, nothing wrong in trying something unorthodox to just pray that there's no rain if we are doing well, right? If we're not doing well, then we should have the option to pray for rain.
I like those anti-rain dance. I know there's a raga, Carnatic raga, where you sing and it's going to rain. But I like this whole concept, anti-rain dance. I'm sure we will find answers in a book somewhere. And playing in Motera, that's probably a number one option. We could any time of the year we could play in Motera. But I think on a serious note, I don't think anybody in England can ever predict rain. Even the weathermen have it wrong. But yeah, but I'm sure they could do something with technology.
I
Uh,
feel is this,
Bidhu,
that
Vignesh,
yeah, what I feel is something like this. World Test Championship, they had one extra day, but the same this series also counts for the World Test Championship for 2023. If you go on to see, India's 5 match schedule is a part of the WTC. Now, losing points out there for the WTC might curtail India's chances, might go down. India might be third or fourth just because of this one draw. So what I feel is that all the tests which are included in WTC should have a mandatory 6th day. We would have a result in those 6 days, and we know that okay, we are not going to, no team is going to lose out on chances just because of some rains.
true. The options we have is having a reserve day, anti-rain dance, start an hour early. Some fabulous ones. I'm making notes. I'm going to send an email to Ganguly and Jesha. I hope they take one of it. Bidhu,
Hey, hi, Suraj. So, your question is so relevant because as a cricket fan, there have been innumerable matches where we have been anticipating a great win or just being despair of an impending loss and the rain comes up. I have, because we are not really focusing on the constraints, I have a little bit a different approach. So why not have an indoor stadium? If you guys remember in 2000, Australia and South Africa played a one-day series entirely in an indoor stadium. It was a 3-match series and it was a success. I'm not sure why it did not continue further, but I think indoor test matches can be an option. And the second one, little bit more pragmatic, is let's have a ping ball kept throughout the test match. So if the rain subsides in the first 2 sessions, let's have one more session in the night with the ping ball. And I'm sure there will be a lot of questions raised, but hey, we accepted the DNL method, right? We are okay with Duckworth-Lewis. We are right now talking about saving a game which is dying. And there are only hardly 3-4 nations which are competing. And it's really important to have matches scheduled in England for their supporters. So I think these 2 options can be explored further, both the indoor stadium as well as the ping ball.
good ideas, Bidhu, because I know there was talks of an indoor stadium and then they had a roof which could close. And I think one of the issues they had was if somebody hits the sticks really high or it's a catch, it could hit the roof of the stadium and all of that. But I mean, how many times do people hit so high in the area? I mean, I think it's a practical idea to have an indoor stadium or a roof which closes. But I like the other idea of yours. Session 1, session 2 in a red Duke's ball, session 3 in a pink ball. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So let's just make as much possible as an organizer or a referee to give the players as much chance to complete 450 overs, be it a reserve day or having the night reserve in case the morning session is washed out for rain. And if you are playing at night, bring in the pink ball, even if it is a red ball test.
I think that's a great idea. India is probably going to say, cool, pink ball, no Anderson, no broad bowling. I think we're good. Because I think the pink ball swings a lot more than the red ball. But yeah, interesting suggestions, gentlemen. I really like the breadth of the thought process you guys have. I'm sure BCCI is going to pick something and not let us fans get frustrated because of rain denying India a test match win, a famous test match win in Nottingham.
So just on the indoor stadium bit, right? Like
Yeah.
as long as we're being silly, why not suggest that if the ball hits the roof, you're out, right? Our gully cricket rules. So if you manage to hit a 6 so big, then first you go bring the ball, second you're out. So all hail silliness, please.
Yeah, I remember full toss hitting the windows, full toss hitting the door, out. But okay, coming back to India, our famous tail did wag in Nottingham, right? I mean, I know we've all been cribbing about the fact that when India bowls, all the other teams have their tail and they score anywhere between 50 to 100 to 150. But when our lower order batsmen go there, they fold really quickly. But Nottingham was an aberration. Or is it the new look tail which we see? Now, if you have to nominate somebody as the night watchman for the rest of the series, what would your picks be?
I'll go with Ishant Sharma. If he's playing, that is, this test match, his technique, at least the defensive technique, looked good, and he has experience of 100 test matches, 100 plus test matches. But if it is between Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami, then I'll probably ask him to play rock paper scissors. Whoever wins goes through. I mean, no disrespect to them, and they did really well in Nottingham, but it just, I don't really see them, any one of them, as a reliable night watchman. So why not have some fun and play rock paper scissors, and whoever wins goes through.
I actually think that our spinners are playing in the wrong position. I feel we can promote Jadeja up, especially if there's that night watchman duty. He has shown a lot of potential, and it's just that he runs out of people to bat with, right? And at the other side, we have our 3, 4, 5 who are underperforming. So maybe push Jadeja up if a night watchman opportunity arises. Let him bat with quality batsmen, and maybe we get something great out of it. Notwithstanding, Ashwin, if he's playing, can also be a great plug in that position to just soak balls and not do anything else.
Yeah, just one thing over there, Abhinav, it's just Jadeja is so important these days with our fragile batting order. We wouldn't really want to lose him, at the end of the day, tired body.
Imagine we are 6 wickets down and Kohli walks into bat, right? Mm-hmm. That will put fear into your opposition.
Yes.
Your bowlers,
more than that, what I believe is that considering how our middle order is, I want Ajinkya Rahane to be a night watchman at any cost. So you are 7 wickets down and still we want a night batsman. Keep Ajinkya Rahane till the end. We have him as a great night watchman.
Ajinkya Rahane did the night watchman duty, right? After Kohli.
Yes, yeah.
That is why I'm nominating him.
And first thing in the morning, he said, "Thank you for allowing me to play. I won't trouble you anymore." He walked out.
How things change, doesn't it? I mean, in the last episode, we were discussing about how Ajinkya Rahane should take over the captaincy of the Indian national team, and then now that's how cricket works, I guess.
Yeah. But I like how you guys did a 360-degree shift of the question. I was talking about tailenders, and now you guys are talking about Kohli walking out at 6 and Rahane walking out at 7. I'm curious to know, what would your top 7 be? We will open with Rohit and Rahul, and then rock, paper, scissors, Bumrah, Shami, or Siraj, and then a wicket falls, Ishant Sharma as the night watchman, and then Kohli and Rahane walks in.
Little harsh on Kohli. Maybe he is still there at 4, but yeah, Pujara and Rahane, we all know what's happening over there. So.
No, I like that idea because it's going to psychologically demoralize the bowlers, right? Imagine our bowlers can get a few shots away, or Ishant is just defending. Like the Broads, the Andersons, the Currans, everybody gets tired. And then when they're tired is when you get Kohli and Rahane. I like this. I'll put this as a part of the fantasy thought process we have.
Yeah, just to since we have a little bit digressed, let's to put that tangent in a different way. Do you really believe in night watchmen? Because I personally don't. I'll tell you 3 reasons why. Because if a batsman who is properly trained to bat, if he is not able to navigate those difficult situations, how can you expect a bowler to stay there? That is the first one. Second is, the whole concept of night watchman is that you protect the batsman in the wee hours of the day, right? So I'm assuming the bowler who you send has already bowled some 20-25 overs. He is tired, and now he is having the added pressure of batting out. And the last point, which is very important, is what if the bowler stays on? The next day, the other batsman has to switch a partnership with the bowler. And that, I think, will impede the entire team's progress, because we always prefer a batsman and a batsman partnership over a batsman and a bowler partnership, right? Just a case in point, if Pujara, look at Pujara, he scored 3 boundaries, right? Just because the bowlers were attacking. And instead of Pujara, if someone of a bowler, like a Bumrah would have been sent, the next day, either Rahul or Rohit would have batted with Bumrah for maybe 6-7 overs, and the entire tempo would have been totally different, as opposed to Rohit and Rahul coming in with a Pujara.
I like this whole devil's advocate thought process, Bidhu. Very interesting. But did we say cricket was never fair to bowlers? It is the most
Never
unfair
is.
game
Never.
to bowlers. They're the ones who
Yeah.
get battered all the time. But I think, in all seriousness, point taken. I think you've got a valid point saying, if somebody's picked as a batsman, they better be good enough to play the last over of the day, the first over of the day, or at any time of the day. I mean, what is the whole point in guarding them? Which is a great segue to my next question. What's ailing Chepu and Ajinkya Rahane? What is happening, folks?
I don't know. I mean, Pujara is a little confused, I feel, because his whole game is about tiring out bowlers, playing out 100 deliveries and then taking advantage of tired bodies, right? He's done that so well over his career. Even if you go back to his Ranji days, he has scored so many triple tons. I mean, I remember one against Karnataka because I followed that game really hard. But here, if you see how he played yesterday and even in the second innings of Nottingham Test, right? He's trying to attack a little too early, and which is a little alien to his game, right? He's someone who takes his time, bides his time, and then looks for opportunities to score. But if you see what happened against Anderson, also the ball that he got out, the usual Pujara would never even bother to touch that ball. Right? It was just going away. He would have left it. It's not something we associate with Pujara. I think the pressure of the scoring rate, associated with Pujara is playing in his mind. I think he has to go back to how he used to play before, just weather the storm, play out, 50, 60 deliveries, and then maybe, blossom from there. As far as Rahane, I think he's been an enigma for me for the last 9 years. I mean, he looks absolutely $1 million on outside pitches when it is moving. At least I remember 2014 Lords. For every 2014 Lords, you have 2021 Lords, in which he looked all at sea. Right. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a little bit of pressure on him, but he never shows that pressure. But his game has just not prospered as probably I would have hoped for when I watched him in 2014 Lords. So I'm really not sure about Rahane. Maybe he needs a break, but Pujara, I think he has to go back to his own self in his bubble, and then he'll probably start scoring runs.
Considering that,
Nottingham was crazy, yeah. Like suddenly, like if you see the second innings, Nottingham, I mean, it seems like it was he forgot who he was or his playing style. It seems like he scored what 9 out of 12 balls before rain
Yes.
came in. But yeah.
You
Okay,
know,
sorry, Abhinav, Vignesh.
Yeah, one thing which I really feel bad about Rahane is when I saw him in the Nottingham Test, he was really dire to get himself run out. I don't know why. There were instances where he was like, okay, I want to get run out, I want to go out of the situation. The same is the attitude I saw when he came to Lords. He was really trying to get himself out. There were lucky breaks, but he wasn't in his best with that. I was just going through some stats, and to me, Rahane over the years, his batting average has fallen. So in 2019, his batting average was 72.25. And in 2020, he is at 38.85, and 2021 he is at 15.50. And that seems a very dire trend because I am now worried, like how will as said by Tejas, last episode we were discussing about giving captaincy to Rahane, and with this, would he be in more pressure or would his pressure be relieved? That is one question which I aim for here.
So Vignesh, just to point out, you don't have to tell us that you are going through some stats. We all just assume that's what you do in your free time. But notwithstanding that, I think I agree with you. Pujara, and much like Tejas said, every time Pujara scored has been an enigma to me because I never expect him to score. I know he did splendid stuff in 2014, but that's 7 years ago, guys. Let it be, right? Stop logging a horse from 2014 in 2021, right? So I think for a long time there have been questions in a time where our team had nobody else with experience and leadership. Yes, he's shown in Australia, but really when there's more people around, when there's senior people around, I just don't think he's doing anything. I don't think we need to carry someone only as a night watchman. There's other people knocking the door, right? And unfortunately, it's sad that you're saying this about Rahane, but that seems to be all he's doing.
And just taking up from Tejas, where he said that Pujara's entire gameplay was tiring out the batsman. The technique. See, in Australia, the balls they use is a Coca-Cola ball, and that swings for a particular amount of over, and then it stops swinging. So it's entirely a spin. That's when the entire spinner Nathan Lyon comes in, plays the game, takes wickets, and Pujara then goes on to attack them. The point here is that Duke ball doesn't stop swinging. Every over it swings, and Pujara is not able to understand that. He is trying to bring the spinners in, but since the pace bowlers are swinging the ball, every time he gets out in that old-fashioned way.
But I'm saying, so what if he has a little problem with swing, right? It's like, I hate to draw parallels between Pujara, who has like a very low run rate by default, and Seva, who has a very high run rate, right? There are people you carry in your team because of what they add to us from a psychological point of view. We know the day Pujara gets playing, Anderson can't shake him, Broad can't shake him, Archer can't shake him. He's going to keep playing, right? And it's okay to carry one person in the team like that, because he does deliver, he does do what he does from time to time. And when he does take that stand, we end up winning because the team rallies around it, right? So I feel Pujara as an entity is still needed. I like that Rahul played a slow start this time to get through the conditions, because we need some players who can do that in test and not just go for runs as such.
So I mean, I'm just asking hypothetically, right? Like one point somebody could say is, Pujara weathered the storm in Australia, took a lot of body blows in the last test or the third test, and then kind of helped the team win and all of that. But looking forward, if clearly Pujara and Rahane are struggling, what are our options? Like, who do you guys think should replace them in the team? Because if they're carrying them and they're not performing, who does the team look at?
I think it'll be, what do I say? Probably will be a little harsh on KL Rahul, but I'll bring in Mank to open and push down KL at 3, and at 5 I'll have Vihari. I know. I mean, it's really, really harsh on Rahul, and we've heard about this, right? A guy called Rahul doing whatever he can for the team. I think I'll bank on him to go down at 3, and let his really good mate Mayank open, and I'll have Vihari at 5. And Vihari has been in England this year playing county cricket, so he's well versed with the conditions at least. So he'll be okay at number 5. But at 3, I'll have Rahul and Mayank to open.
Why not the other way around?
I beg to differ that, because you see that KL Rahul, as soon as he opened for India started getting its 100+ partnership. And this was the first time in 11 years that India got a 100+ partnership in a Sana country. And that makes a big difference. Now, considering that, I would try to bring Hanuman Vihari in place of Rahane, and I would bring Sky, Surya Kumar Yadav, in place of Pujara. Why is as simple as that? Surya Kumar Yadav's technique, the time when he played for India in his T20 and his ODI debut, and for Sri Lanka against, I would say he was an outperformer in the entire series. Also, the way he plays for Mumbai Indians, he has shown his technique, he has shown his consistency, and that is what is required. So I believe, these might be the 2 changes. Keep Rahul as he's playing, because he has got his form in that, and let him continue to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about Surya Kumar Yadav just yet. I mean, I would like to see him get a few chances, but white ball and red ball are extremely different. As you were saying, Pujara does well in Australia. He struggles with a swinging ball, and let's be honest, Surya Kumar Yadav has not had any experience, right? He might just turn out to be the find of the century, but I wouldn't just put him in there just yet. I think where I differ with Tejas is I'd put Mayank at 3, Rahul with Sharma. Look, I'm also a big fan of Gill. We were very close for the 100+ partnership, opening partnership with Gill and Sharma, right? So we have enough talent there. It's as Suraj rightly said, the question is, who do we bring midfield, right? Like who do we replace Rahane with, which is still a conundrum because we don't have established names at that spot yet. So we'll have to test some folks.
No backers for Prithvi Shaw. Like I know he's flying along with Sky.
Suraj, I think Prithvi Shaw putting into the mix would create more confusion because I think KL Rahul was not initially chosen as the opening batsman, right? He was just filled in for Mayank. And because he is doing well, let him do well. Just don't disturb the opening combination yet. And you mentioned, right, as the thing stands now, having both Rahane and Pujara with those forms is very difficult. Given that Rohit Sharma is now starting to play regularly, Virat Kohli will have an able leader or a vice captain kind of figure, which is the role which Rahane played. And just to support Rahane and play the devil advocate again, Rahane never had a series where he scored 200-300. He always scores that 100 in the middle of the test in an entire series, and those are very crucial knocks. Be it the Lords or in the Melbourne when there was a partnership with Virat Kohli in Australia. Then in West Indies he scored 100 very recently, 2-3 years back. Now in Australia. So all the series he has one particular 100, which is a series-changing 100, and then he flattens out for the entire series, be it a 4-match series or a 3-match series. So going forward, I might just drop Pujara and have KL Rahul 3 if you have to do it, and still have Rahane for the entire series and then see how it goes.
Maybe we do this, right? We play Rahane till he hits 1 century. And then
we also have to remember, sorry to cut in, just remember the fielding skills of Rahane, because I'm not sure about Pujara, but India cannot afford to have Butterfinger such slips. No, and Rahane is very safe.
For that, I have a suggestion of Wriddhiman Saha.
Yeah, he can look. Rahane can still field. I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying let him play till he scores his 50 or 100, then make him sit down, bring Pujara back in. And that one spot, right? So we have either Pujara or Rahane. The one other spot we keep trying, a Sky or a Prithvi Shaw or someone else until we find someone that sticks. I don't know.
I believe that India is carrying a wicketkeeper who is not that great established. I would say he was a great wicketkeeper, but he wasn't given that much preference considering of Pant's integrity. It is Wriddhiman Saha. It's not that he had some bad tournament or something like that, but he was always sidelined. And he might be one of the great replacements, considering his skills.
I like where we went from. We went all the way from Sky to doing musical chairs with Rahane and Pujara to Prithvi Shaw, Mayank, and then suddenly out of the box, Wriddhiman Saha wasn't there anywhere, and then we are saying we bring him in. I mean, I like it. Where do we bring in? And then of course there was Vihari in between. Where do we bring in Wriddhiman Saha in place of Rahane?
See, for me, I believe, if we can bring him in place of Rahane, the slip fielding catches can be done because he's a wicket keeper. And plus Pant, if he is like a bit tired, has an off day, you still have a wicket keeper replacement for Pant. And plus, Saha is one who can at least give us some 30-40 odd runs as compared to Rahane, who isn't able to give that as of now. So.
Yeah, anyways, the Indian team manager will be like, anyways, from Pujara and Rahane, we're getting single digit scores. We might as well try whoever possible and then give them at least 2 innings and say, if you cross double digits, you are in the next test, and then you can incrementally keep improving. All right, gentlemen, we're almost at the end of our show. But before we end, I really want to talk about weird batting styles, right? When every time I see Rory Burns bat, I have no idea how that man survives every single ball. He starts outside the leg stump and then he walks, and then I don't know how he plays, okay? But who, according to you, has had the most weird batting style? Like people you've watched?
The usual answer. Okay, go ahead, Abhinav. Yes, sorry.
Shivnara and Chandrapal for me. Our man had eccentric styles in between. I particularly remember the way he picks out the bail to mark his guard, so to speak, right? And I always used to wonder, what is he doing? Why isn't the umpire coming and stopping him from flicking the bails off for no reason? But that guy was very effective, right? So I've enjoyed watching him play a lot.
I always wondered why he never got charged for destroying the pitch. Have you seen he used to take the bail and nail it in the pitch?
Hammer it in,
Yeah, apparently his son Tag Narayan Chandrapal also does the same thing.
He does
His
the
son is
same.
a
Yeah, he
cricketer,
does the
yeah.
same. For me, I mean, if you look at Chandrapal or even Fawad Alam, I think with whom the question arose, they at least look organic. But I mean, organic in an unorthodox way, maybe. But I remember watching George Bailey a few years ago, 2017. His front leg heel was pointing to covers while he was taking guard to a fast bowler. And for spinners, it's the usual one. I just couldn't fathom what he was trying to do. I mean, at least Chandrapal, Fawad Alam, they've played this way throughout their career, and you watch someone like a George Bailey, who's very well respected in the game, right? He's a no-nonsense guy.
Yeah.
You watch him take a guard like that, his his left heel pointing towards cover. I just couldn't stop laughing, and not that it worked. Also, he failed miserably there, but but yeah, that was really unorthodox and inorganic for me.
For
Yeah,
me,
for me, it is again, like as Abhinav said, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, purely because of the fact of his longevity and the fact that he could score 11,000 runs with that stance, and to have Lara with that flair and Chris Gayle with that brutal ability, and still holding his ground key. I am going to play this way only because this serves my purpose. That is it. But for like fun purpose, if my memory serves right, there was one Pakistani opening batsman, Taufiq Umar, who had a very ugly kind of shuffle when he started to open for Pakistan. And the only reason I'm happy is because both Pathan and Balaji figured him out in 2004 series and kept getting in LBW or the leg stump uprooted. So I think for me, these two people will have these weird chances.
I'm sure he would never send them biryani ever on Eid. No? He's like, guys, you spoiled my career.
No, for me, I would take an English batsman, Kevin Peterson. They had Kevin Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah, he in one of the series I remember he had an absolutely blinder of a stance where he was actually trying to do a squats in the middle, and that's how he was like holding the bat and trying to hit it. And that was one of his weirdest stance I have noticed till today, and that's why that remembers it reminded me of him. Considering we are speaking about India England, we can have.
Don't tell me he scored a century even with that really weird batting stance, and this was against the Aussies in the Ashes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure.
High chance, yes, because I mean, back in 2005, 2007, KP I think was everyone's favorite player, wasn't it? I mean, at least 2005 Ashes. I mean, I hate to say this, but I used to scribble his name in the back of my notebook, and all I wanted was to be KP, right? This Kevin Peterson, this guy from South Africa, taking England cricket by storm and thrashing the likes of Vaughan, McGrath, Lee in that Ashes. It's just good old days and dreamy stuff, isn't it? He's just incredible guy, incredible player.
I have a feeling, Tejas, that like what Vignesh was describing, if he really had that spot in the middle of his stance, I'm pretty sure McGrath and Vaughan and everybody would be laughing their ass off. And that's probably why they couldn't bowl properly to him, because every time they see him doing it, they're like, come on, you can't do this every single ball. How can we not laugh at you? But yeah, I mean, Fawad Alam, I somehow think he actually starts from where the square leg umpire is when the bowler starts bowling, and then he slowly starts walking. By the time the ball gets delivered, he's lucky if he reaches the stumps. But yeah. But
he's got 400s though, 400s and 150. So his conversion rate's good. Something is clicking for him, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is like his second innings, right?
Yes.
He's like the Akshay Khanna of the Pakistani team.
Yes.
Like second innings, he's doing fabulously well.
Yeah. I think one thing we can notice over there is whenever they actually meet the ball, their head is like pretty still, and they're quite balanced. I think that is no matter how you start, but I think your balance when you actually meet the ball, I think that matters more. So I think Chandrapal and Fawad Alam do that really well.
Yeah, as long as the head's not falling away. Also is what Sunny G says.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Some really serious topics today. Good insights. Thank you again for being a part of the panel and giving out your thoughts. As always, see you again in the next episode.
Just per se, England lost one wicket.
Oh, nice. So what's the score? Now we're giving live scores. What's the score?
283 for 5.
So they're still how many runs behind?
Around
Just
about 81.
80,
Yeah,
81.
81. Yeah, I think.
Good. How many of you think India is going to get a slim lead? That's going to be our ending. score.
I always
Suraj,
believe.
I
I
am
always
really
believe.
scared of this question. The third inning, when the team has a slender lead, is very, very difficult for Indians. They have missed such opportunities in search of scoring quick runs. They lose a lot of wickets and they get bowled out. And the fourth inning for the other team really gets easy for them. So I'm really afraid for the slender lead. I'm okay with the slender, fallback for England.
Like a deficit, like we have to go.
Yeah, deficit. But the slender lead is often difficult.
Okay, let's just hope that India do manage to win this test. This is what we hope all the time.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, thank you again for your participation, and thank you for all the people who've been watching live and those who are going to watch once we post it on Facebook. Have a good week, and till we see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, have a good weekend, guys.
Bye, guys.